Hey everyone, welcome to my video. Hope you guys are doing well. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. So today I'm going to be talking about something that I haven't actually discussed before on my channel, and it is kind of hard for me to talk about it because I do feel like it's very personal. At the same time, I feel like I've been so blessed by God and I'm in a great position in my life as a mother. Of course I'm still learning and I'm still growing, but I feel like I'm at a really good place. You know, I'm not saying I'm a professional because there is no manual to motherhood. There's no grade of how to rate a mother, you know, but I just feel like I do have a bit more to share with you guys, being that we've gotten so far, especially on my channel, and it's all thanks to you guys. So I do want to open up a little bit more and let you guys in a bit more, know some things without giving away too much, I suppose. If you are new to my channel, I'll kindly ask that you subscribe below and you join my family here on YouTube. And without further ado, let's just get right into it, so that you guys know that this is really difficult for me to kind of get into and to really talk about. So I'm gonna try and tell you as much as I can without being too, you know, OTT. I will start by saying I am a young mum. I'm a cool mum, and I became a mum at the age of 17 years old. I have a 9-year-old son. He turned 9 last week. I'm still finding my foot as a mum. I'm still finding my balance between myself socially, myself as a mum, myself as a friend to my son, and myself as a friend to other people. I'm still kind of finding my way around life, as we do, because really life is a journey. There really is no point where you stop learning. So I will get started by saying this is my journey. Everything I'm sharing with you guys today is exactly what I went through, and I'm not trying to undermine anyone. I'm not trying to make anybody, I'm not here throwing subliminals at anyone. This is just my life and this is how things panned out for me. I'm not here to teach a lesson. I do hope I inspire other people, you know, and I'm not here saying go get pregnant, because that's far from what I'm saying. I'm actually kind of saying the opposite. I'm just really giving you guys my story. That's all I can do. Let's throw back 9 years to 2007, and I was in a relationship for about 2 years before I got pregnant with my son, and I was in a relationship with my son's dad, and it was a long distance relationship. He lived in Nigeria and I lived over here, but we were talking pretty much every day on the phone, so we were in constant communication. On one of my trips back to Nigeria, that's when I fell pregnant. You know, we did use protection, but obviously it didn't work. We used a really, I don't know if it was a bad condom or badly made condom or terrible quality condom. The condom ripped open, and that's how my contraception failed me and I got pregnant. Because in the UK you have emergency contraception, there are places where you can go and morning after pill and any other type of emergency contraception. I thought possibly find somewhere that does emergency contraception ASAP, which is what I tried to do. So I asked my son's dad, you know, can you go and get me some kind of emergency contraception? I don't know, at the pharmacy, just tell them that you need the morning after pill. So he comes back and he gives me like a pill. So this was the following morning. I remember it being a brown pill. Popped it in my mouth, I drank some water, I downed it. I thought, okay, that's gonna be it. I'm safe, you know, nothing to worry about. Came back to London. I had started college again, so I was going to college pretty much every single day until at about September, October, I couldn't leave my house. I found that I was very tired. I was just constantly waking up feeling drained, like I had no energy. I didn't want to go out. There were times where I'd actually get ready for college and I'd make it to college, but I found that during the day I was really tired. There were days whereby I'd get ready, I'd get to my front door and I'd just say, do you know what, I cannot do this, and I'd go back to bed and I'd sleep for hours, until a friend of mine at the time was like, Esther, you're doing this too often, like you haven't been coming to college. What's going on? Like, what's the problem? What's the matter? And I explained to her, of course, that, you know, haven't seen my period at this point. I'm really worried that I may be pregnant, although I took the morning after pill, so I don't see how it's possible that I'm pregnant. She was on her way home from college, so she said she'll stop by with some pregnancy tests, and that's when I took a pregnancy test. It came out positive, and at the time I wasn't really scared. I don't think I was scared. I don't think I was worried about anything, but just making sure my baby was okay. I think that was one thing that was kind of going through my mind at that time. I was really scared of telling my parents. I was worried about what my family were gonna think, but I was also really considering, oh my goodness, I hope this baby's okay. Because when I got back from Nigeria in August, went to Carnival. At Notting Hill Carnival, I did consume alcohol, so at that moment I was more worried about my baby being okay than anything else. So I informed my son's dad and I told him, look, I've just taken a pregnancy test and it's come out positive. But the one thing that he said was, okay, that's absolutely fine. Whatever you decide to do, I support you. So the following day, I said I was going to go to the hospital. I had decided at that point to terminate the pregnancy, but I don't think I had thought about it enough because I didn't follow through with the termination. I didn't think too much about the termination. I just said, oh, okay, yeah, I will go for a termination. I'll make my way to the hospital. To get to the hospital, so once I leave my house, I'll give an example. Once I leave my house, the hospital is in this direction and my doctor's surgery is in that direction. So when I left my house, I started walking in this direction rather than towards the hospital. I just left the house and I was walking, I was talking to myself, I was thinking, I was just really in my own head that day. I'm really trying to take everything in, and I found that I was on the street of my doctor's surgery. I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't supposed to be here. Like, this is not the direction I was meant to go in. Like, I completely lost track of everything. I was just walking. And I went in there, I saw a doctor that day, and I just sat there and I said, well, I'm pregnant. And she said, okay, that's fine, no problem at all. You know, what's your day of birth? Typed everything into her system, and she worked out my due date, and she booked an appointment for my first scan. You get a first scan 12 weeks. I don't know if it's 12 weeks. Sorry, I can't really remember. It was a long time ago. I think this is how it is now. So the day you see your midwife is when you get booked in for your first scan. But I was booked in for my first scan the day I saw my doctor for the first time. And I was given a prescription for folic acid. They give you folic acid very early on in your pregnancy because it's supposed to help the bones and the formation of the spinal cord, your baby's spinal cord. And she told me to be back there to see my midwife in a couple days time or so. And I was basically handed a blue book. I was told that that blue book basically had to go everywhere with me. So if I had to go for a blood test, if I had to go for a scan, if I came to see my doctor, if I called for a checkup, I had to take that blue book with me. So they wrote every bit of information about my pregnancy in the blue book. And I remember my first scan, and I just remember thinking, I was like, whoa, his head's so big. Obviously you analyze it and you just think, oh my god, his head's so big, it reminds me of this person, it reminds me of that person in the family. But it was really, really nice to see him for the first time. And my mum came with me for that scan, and at the first scan I didn't know what sex I was having because that's the earliest scan, and you don't find out the sex of the baby until the 20-week scan. Now of course before this I had to tell my parents. First of all, told my older sister, my big sister. You know, she came to visit us at the house and we were walking and talking, and she was just saying how proud of me she was and how happy she is that I'm, you know, doing really well in school, and she's really, you know, looking forward to me becoming a mature young lady and a very responsible young lady. And it was just at that moment I had to stop her. I'm pregnant and, you know, I'm gonna keep the baby. And she was like, what? She was shocked. She didn't believe me. She was just like, no, what do you mean? She was like, stop joking around, because I joke around a lot. I'm quite playful. And she was like, stop playing around, stop playing around. And I was like, no, I'm deadly serious. I'm really pregnant. I pulled out my folic acid tablets and I showed her and I said, I have to be taking this as advised by my doctor. You know, I'm really pregnant and I need you to help me because I need to tell mum and I need to tell my dad. She just hugged me. She said it's going to be okay. We called my sister, my other sister, and we told her as well. And then we sort of arranged for a date to go and tell my son's grandparents and my parents as well. We first of all told my mum. We sat my mum down, and I remember I was sitting closest to the door because I was worried. I was scared that she was gonna like go for my neck the moment we told her. So I was sitting closest to the door and I had my sisters in between me, and my mum she sat furthest away from me. My first sister said, okay mum, you know, we have something to tell you, but we want you to be really calm. We don't want you to stress out. Please don't get too angry. We have to tell you because it's very important. My mum was like, what is it? What is it? What is it? Talk now, talk. And we're like, we just told you need to calm down. To calm down. And then my big sister said, well, one of us is pregnant. And literally in the room, the silence was so loud you could hear a pin drop. My heart was beating so fast. I was so scared. One of my sisters said, the person who's pregnant hasn't spoken yet. And of course at that time I hadn't said anything. I was too scared to say anything. I kind of wanted them to do all the talking. But then my heart sank the moment my sister said that, and my mum said, who's the father? I told her who the father was, and she was like, I knew it. And she said, you've been acting so weird recently. I was worried. And then we just said, okay, Mum, well, we need your help because we've got to tell the other grandparents, you know, really want you to come with us so we can speak to them about it. And she was like, okay, let me know when. But I think when the time came to go and approach the other grandparents and obviously give them the news, my mum, I'm not sure what it was, but she didn't come with us. I do understand now that obviously she would have felt some kind of disappointment in me. I don't think she was angry. I think she was just more worried. You know, obviously being a young girl, still in school, I think so many things were running through my mum's head. Her having to deal with the other set of parents was just too much for her at the time. And now I understand, to be honest, but then I was very upset that she didn't come with me. So time to tell the other grandparents, my son's dad's parents. See, he was in Nigeria, so he wasn't able to really sit them down and talk. We sat the grandma down and we were like, okay, you know, please don't get upset, please don't get angry, you know, leading up to it, listen to us and ask us the questions afterwards. Esther's pregnant and it's for your son. She didn't take it too well because she's a very emotional being, so she did start crying and she did start, you know, calling God and saying, how is this girl going to continue her education? She's supposed to have a good life, you know, having a baby at such a young age. People are going to look at her awfully. They're going to look at her parents like they haven't raised her right. She was really worried and she was so emotional. You know, she cried. And I was just like, well, I'm okay. I've been going to college. I've been taking my medicine. I feel fine. I do have a bit of sickness, but, you know, I am okay. Once we had told everybody it had all passed, everyone was a bit more happy. Everybody was looking forward to the baby. I wasn't hiding. I wouldn't say I was hiding away, because the thing I've noticed about the Nigerian community, especially from churches, you know, let's say a girl gets pregnant young, the family want to hide her away. They want to hide her away or marry her off really quickly so that she doesn't look like a girl that's just gotten pregnant and isn't doing anything with her life. You know, my parents did say, you need to get married to him, and I was like, no, I don't. I'm sorry, but I'm not at the stage in my life where I can be someone's wife. I feel like I know what that means to commit to being someone's wife, and just because we've had this baby together doesn't necessarily mean I have to go and marry him. It doesn't mean I have to move in with him. It doesn't mean I need to hide away. This has happened. You know, they're gonna see me with a baby in a couple of months, so I'm not gonna like run and hide. There's nowhere that I can possibly hide. So I would go to church with my bum, meet up with my friends, obviously not doing anything that I shouldn't be doing during my pregnancy. I wasn't scared of people seeing me out and about pregnant. It's one of those things in life that happens. I wasn't the first and I won't be the last to get pregnant as a teenager. So during my pregnancy, I would have really, really weird dreams. And I remember there was a night I had 2 dreams. So in the dream I was sleeping, but I woke up and I went downstairs because I was feeling my stomach, but I couldn't feel my bump. I couldn't feel my bump. So I woke up and I was like, oh my goodness, like, where's my baby? Where's my bump? So I ran downstairs and my mum was in the kitchen and she was cooking. And 2008 was the year Obama started his first term as president of the United States of America. So whilst I was pregnant, of course, he was still running. He was doing his campaign. All of that was going on. Mum, like, my bump, it's not here, Mum. Like, where's my baby? Where's my baby? And she was like, oh. She was like, you've had the baby. And I was like, what? I've had the baby? She said, yeah. And I was like, when did I have the baby? And she said, you had him on the 6th of April. And I was like, oh, okay. And another dream I had was that Obama won the presidency. So when Obama won, I was like, oh my goodness, I dreamt about this. This is crazy. I actually dreamt about this. So fast forward now a little bit more to when it was time for me to give birth. I was given a due date of 26th of April 2008, but my baby actually came on the 6th of April 2008, the same day that I was told in my dream I was gonna have my baby. So on the 5th of April 2008, I went to IKEA and I purchased a new mattress. I bought a new wardrobe, a new chest of drawers. I just wanted to do up my room a little bit more for when the baby came. So IKEA said that they would deliver it the following day. So the 6th of April 2008, I was waiting for IKEA. They came early in the morning. They delivered my mattress, my chest of drawers and my wardrobe. The first thing I did was remove my old mattress with my huge bump. I removed my old mattress. I threw it out outside by the communal bins, and I popped my new one onto my bed. I made my bed and everything, and then I started on my wardrobe and my chest of drawers. I think I did the chest of drawers first because that one was like the most easiest thing to kind of put together at the time. But before I did that, 8 a.m. in the morning, I was on the phone to my older sister, and we were talking again. She was like, how's everything going? I said, yeah, fine, I'm doing okay. But at this moment I was having pains, but they felt more like intense period pains. So intense period cramping, that's what I could feel more than anything. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm doing okay. And I was like, ooh. She asked, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I just felt like a pain, but I'm fine. We continued the conversation. Not long after that, I felt the pain again. And I said, oh, do you know what? I'm just going to go and have some sleep. I'm going to relax for a bit, wake up, and continue doing the furniture. I woke up a bit later. My mum came home from church, and so did 2 of my friends. They came with my mum to see me, and they were helping me do the chest of drawers, and apparently I was snapping at them, and I didn't realize that I was snapping because obviously I was in labor. So I was doing the chest of drawers, hammering, putting everything together, putting it in its position, doing the room how I liked it basically. And I was having these pains, so every now and then I'd kind of stop, hold my stomach, breathe, continue again. I'd stop, breathe, let the contraction ride out, and I'd continue. I hadn't felt anything like it during my pregnancy, so I didn't know what Braxton Hicks were. I didn't know what false labor was. All I knew was that at that moment I was in pain. So we did the cupboard together, we did my chest of drawers together, and it was a bit later at night. My mum had dropped home my friends, so she wasn't in the house. So once I was done folding my newborn's clothes into the drawers and putting my clothes away and doing my bed and getting ready for bed, I said, let me have a shower, because the way I'm feeling is intense. The pain is a lot. So I went and I took a bath, but I couldn't stand up in the bath. I had to sit down in the bath. I don't think I was in there for very long because I was in a lot of pain. So once I was done there, I came back downstairs. After that, I do feel like the pain had intensified. I didn't really think I was in labor at this point. I didn't think I was gonna have my baby that day. I just thought I was in pain and I didn't know when it was gonna stop. Not long after, I came downstairs, I laid on my bed. I couldn't close my legs. Like, they felt like there was so much pressure just in between my legs, and then the contractions wouldn't stop coming. At this point, they were very, very frequent. This was, say, about 10:30 at night. I had been literally doing my room the entire day. So it's like 10:30 at night. My mum comes back home because she was out for about an hour. So that worried me as well because I was in the house on my own. So my mum came home and she saw me laying on the bed and she was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I was like, I can't close my legs, and I couldn't talk because the contractions were so frequent. They were really, really coming. So she says, call the hospital. Call them and see what they said. I called the hospital, but as the lady answered, a contraction literally got me, and I was like, ah! I was like, I'm having pains, I'm pregnant. And she just said, do you want to come into the hospital? And I was like, yeah. I flung the phone. I don't know where I flung my phone. Flung my phone somewhere. I just put on my shoes, put my jacket over whatever I was wearing, and I was waddling along to my mum's car. So my mum grabs my hospital bag because, of course, you have to pack yourself a bag when you're pregnant. Last trimester, they say you should pack yourself your hospital bag and have it ready for whenever. So she grabs it, but I said to her, I was like, Mum, I'm not going to need it. And she was like, you never know. I dived into the back of my mum's car on my hands and on my knees. I was on all fours at the back of the car because I just couldn't talk. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't close my legs. I couldn't do anything whereby the pressure that I was feeling in between my legs intensify. I just had to, if I could like stand on my head at that point, I would have been on my head. So I was on my hands and knees in the back of my mum's car, and she was whizzing it down to Homerton Hospital. My mum is a slow driver, but that day she was doing Lewis Hamilton. I remember my phone rang and I answered, and it was my friend, and I was trying to pay attention to the contraction so I could breathe and talk at the same time, but it was all too much. I was literally like, I can't talk. And like, once again, I flung the phone. I don't know where the phone went. If you want a full-on labor and birth video, do the poll up there so I know if you guys are interested. If not, I won't bore you about how much my vagina ripped. They had already told me where to go when I come to the hospital in labor, so I went straight there. After every contraction, I try and walk as fast as possible. If a contraction came, I'd stop, breathe, and I'd walk as fast as possible. Got there, and then a contraction literally hit as I got to the desk. and I just slammed my blue book on the table, because you have to come to hospital with the blue book. You go everywhere with the blue book during your pregnancy. And I was like, I'm in pain. And she was like, okay. She took the blue book. She was like, alright, Miss Ariola, do you want to come through? And I'm just like, just take me wherever you're going to take me to, but just make this pain stop. Laid on the bed, she examined me, and then she was like, oh well, 10 centimeters dilated, you're ready to push. She broke my waters. It did hurt and it did burn and I did rip, but like I said, I won't go into that. Coco was born on the 6th of April 2008 at 23:44, exactly how God said it was gonna happen, and I couldn't believe it. I remember that day in April, it snowed in the morning, and it hasn't snowed ever since in April again. It's really crazy. So yeah, that's basically my pregnancy story. That's how I found out I was pregnant. That's how I told my parents, and that's how I had my baby. In Nigerian tradition, we name our babies 8 days after they're born. I did a naming ceremony for Coco, and we named him Michael Oluwakorede, and then the list goes on. And then his surname, gave him a few names. Going back into the community after I had my baby was a bit difficult, because I was looked at as like that girl who had the baby, especially in church. I lost many jobs. I was fired from my job because I wasn't able to stay for long hours. I remember that day, you know, I always had to leave work early because I couldn't find somebody to pick him up from nursery. And I remember telling my manager, I was like, I need to do earlier shifts because I have a child and I can't stay here past 5 o'clock. I need to leave at 5, be at his nursery by at least 5:45 and get home by 6. But she was just like, I can't do that unfortunately, because you know, it has to be fair on everyone else. I can't give you the same shifts every day, so I'll do what I can do for you. But eventually she called me into her office one day and she was like, you can't keep doing this, I gotta let you go. And that's basically the long and short of how I lost one of my jobs. On the 6th of April 2008, I had Coco.
What was it like?
What part of it?
When after you had me, when I came out.
I was really happy, and I was just looking at everything. I was looking at like your fingers and your toes, and I was just looking at like your eyes. I hadn't seen you before, so I just wanted to really look at everything. I wanted to see what...
Was I crying a lot? Of course.
You cried. You cried when you were born, but you didn't cry a lot, but you cried a bit. You cried a bit.
What did I look like? Can you describe it?
You were really pale, because when babies come out they tend to be very pale. Long fingers, big eyes, but you were quite quiet. You would only eat and sleep. You'd only cry if you were like waking up hungry, but that'd be it.
Well, when I was Nimi's age.
Yeah.
What?
Nimilo is my nephew and he's 15 months, so he's 1 and a bit.
What was I like then? Would I be very playful? Would I be boring?
No, you were very playful. You were a bit like Nim. You were just exploring, but when we said stop it, you would listen.
Did I like to touch things like wardrobes and stuff?
Yeah, you would touch everything. But then you knew from a young age never to touch my makeup, because I'd always tell you, you don't go near mommy's makeup. So you never did, and you never do up till now. You already know. You loved watching Cars, Madagascar, Toy Story. You got a friend in me. You loved that. You remember? Yeah. You'd always sing it. I thought maybe he should come and say hello to you guys, being that obviously this video is part about him.
Part about me.
Part about me. A little bit about you. Yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you have enjoyed this video.
Like and subscribe.
Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. We'll see you again soon.
It's twinkle to talk. Okay, go on then. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Over the rails and high, night clouds glimmer in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.